Hi everybody, it's Jodi and we are at the table in the nest. Another amazing group of moms to weigh in. And they have no idea what I'm about to ask them. So it's right from the hip, unscripted, real moms, real conversations. All right, so here we go, everybody. I was trying to figure out how to phrase this so it wasn't confusing, so I'm just going to say it. So drinking with your underage children. So, and that's the headline. So I have always struggled with, I guess, how I was brought up and my value system, and not that it's right, it's for me, in today's world with the drinking with our underage children. It doesn't matter whether I believe, I'm not even talking about whether you believe the drinking age should be 18, lowered or not, the drinking age is 21. So here's what happened. I go to University of Maryland for my daughter for a tailgate. The tailgate's just for the kids. She takes my son, they go. What I don't see, I don't care. My husband and I do our thing. We go to my son's fraternity parents' weekend, and there's a tailgate at the house, the fraternity house. And I didn't realize it, but it's expected that all the parents bring the alcohol. We bring the alcohol. We bring it and we drink with them. And I struggle. I couldn't, and I want to know how other parents feel. I know how some of my friends feel about this, and we might not all agree, and it's okay if we don't agree, but I think it's important to weigh in because I think it's something many parents, moms struggle with what to do, because I personally did not drink with my parents until I was legal. I just didn't sit down and have a drink with them, let alone them buy me drinks. So who wants to weigh in on how they feel about drinking with your children, buying it for your children when they're underage?
Never buy it for them.
Never buy it.
Never.
Because we've got liability issues.
Yeah,
That's what you've got to.
Exactly.
So I've had wine with dinner with my children, but
In a controlled environment, I'm comfortable, but not in a public environment like the tailgates at college, when you can have kids can get arrested and they can ruin their lives.
And I want to get this side of the table here. Yeah, go ahead.
And what kind of example are you really setting for your kids? I mean, I always told my children, laws are laws, they're not suggestions. And you can do what you're going to do so long, and I did. I taught my children how to drink smart. Right? So drink lots of water, eat something before, because they are going to do it.
Excedrin's really good to take before you go to bed. Just saying, Excedrin.
what?
Let's get it all out there. Right, so you have to be smart about it because they're going to do it, but that doesn't mean that I have to say, oh, sure, here, I don't need to be their best friend. They're going to love me because I done good for all those years, not because I had a glass of wine with them.
You absolutely cannot buy it for them.
No, liability.
Can.
Well, I want to hear from Quiet
I
Jill
would
over here.
say I agree with you, and I think that we presume our kids are going to go off to college and drink, and I would rather, personally, my kids know how to handle their liquor. I've been on the receiving end of numerous phone calls from friends where they'll tell me at 3 o'clock in the morning they got phone calls and texts from a child who was in the bathroom, sick as a dog. Why? Because it was the first time that they drank, they binge drank, sick as a dog, hysterical crying, and they're, hundreds of miles away. So I think if you can gently teach your children, teach them to be responsible, teach them to understand how their body reacts to alcohol. Certainly in their junior and senior year of high school, I think that's fine. I would not be purchasing alcohol for minors. It is breaking the law. I don't want to go to jail, and I don't want my children's lives to be ruined.
And the drinking and driving thing, do we want to even go there?
No, that's Uber. Uber has saved.
Yeah,
I think
that's
moms.
Yes.
I think Uber's
Yes.
allowed us to have nice.
Yeah.
I and it's interesting.
You're smarter.
I do struggle with because it was said to. We were on a family vacation, and I walked into the room, and one of my children was sitting there with a beer, and the whole family was there, and I'm like, I'm sorry, did I miss the memo? And my husband looked at me, and it was in front of everybody, and I'm like, they knew exactly how I felt at this time. This was a few years ago, and somebody at the time who was a non-family member said, if you don't let them do it now, they're going to binge in college. I don't necessarily know that I buy into that philosophy 100%. And I said, by the way, not yours, he's mine.
Exactly.
I'm like, and I was really angry that I was put in that situation because I'm the mom and I have my feelings on it, and I don't judge. I don't judge anybody who sits and has a glass of wine at dinner. I don't judge anybody who lets their kids drink in the comfort of their home. For me personally, it's a very charged subject because I have bent my feelings. I've put my feelings aside and gone against how I truly feel at times because it was just hard. It was just hard. Sometimes as a mom, it's just hard. I will share with you something I did that I want to hear because I know you have something you want to say, right, Tam? Do you want to say it now and I'll say what
It
I...
doesn't matter. I'm interested in what you're saying.
So when we were going to the tailgate for the family weekend for my son's school, I said to him, and for all my Zetas, which are my sorority sisters who will be watching this, they can attest. I said to them, I said, here's the deal, Daniel. I know you're going to drink. I'm going to drink too. I'll make you this promise. I won't get drunk if you get drunk. Because trust me, you do not want me to get drunk. and he just smiled. He goes, okay. And it was a deal. So I was able to swallow the fact that we were drinking together. And that was the promise. I made it a little joke, but it was a promise that anybody, my sorority sisters can attest. But yes, so go ahead, Tammy, weigh in.
Ooh. Well, I go like that because I think it's so loaded. I know how I feel personally. I would say I'm more like you, that I feel like you can teach your children how to navigate without giving them permission and start at a very young age. And that's just not teaching them how to navigate drinking. That's at a young age teaching them how to know who they are and be confident in situations, being whatever it is they want to be and who they are, so that they don't feel a sense that I have to drink to have fun or to let loose or whatever it is. Because it's not that the drinking is a concern, it's like a health thing, but it's that they don't necessarily make their best choices, and sometimes they make life-changing and fatal choices.
Yes.
And so I don't condone it, and it's been a hard couple of years for me with my kids in high school and realizing that I'm alone in some of my thinking and not wanting to sound judgmental of other families, even in front of my children.
Yes.
So it's loaded and complicated, and was there supposed to be an answer?
No.
I don't have one.
There is
no
I
answer.
think it's the communication.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
It
really
always
vital
boils
between
down
you
to
and your
communication.
children.
And being
And
realistic.
Being realistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
With them, the conversation, I started the conversation, I work with teens, so it's not like I was like, well, you just won't, so I started talking about it really young and giving stories and examples and what the challenge was without saying this is what you'll do. So that as those things happen in their own life, they were like, oh, this is what we talked about. So it's like
But I know, I think you're right. I think,
Can I think as a mom of older kids? 'Cause
Yes,
my kids
yeah.
now are 28 and 25, and so now we can drink with them.
Yes.
And they, legally,
Yeah.
and they are very grateful for how we treated them and the rules that we set down, because they watched their friends go to college and not handle themselves well and make poor choices.
Yes.
So if you can hang in
know
there,
a lot of
moms, a
people
little
like that.
longer, I'm telling you, it's going to come full circle, and you'll be glad.
Absolutely.
And I have to, and it is really nice when they are adults.
Yes.
And you can go out to lunch or out to dinner, and I go out with Ellie and we sit down and we have a glass of wine together. It is special and it is nice. And I think the bottom line is, I think it is communication. And I think it is not, because I'm very concerned, I don't want to be judgmental. I don't want anybody to feel that, and I don't want people to judge me. And somehow I can relate to feeling alone in a lot of ways. So I just think, it's when it comes down to it, communications, expectations, and just being a good role model for our kids, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So here's to moms.
Yep.
Here's to the trials and tribulations of navigating.
wine or water.
Cheers.
Wine or
Wine or water.
Wine or water.
Amen.
It's up to you.
Little sip there. All right, everybody. Thank you, moms.
Thank you.
All right, so listen, if you want to connect with me, because I want to connect with you, go over to jodisilverman.com, click the In the Nest tab, and connect away. And you guys have to say this with me. As I always say, dare on.